Hey guys, you're listening to Coming in Hot, the podcast with Cara Lennon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 7 of Coming in Hot, the podcast with me, Cara. This week is a special edition. I am doing a solo episode. It's a little bit shorter, but I just kind of wanted to come on here and connect a few dots for you people. First of all, I'd like to thank anybody that is listening right now. I know it's a holiday week, which is part of the reason why I wanted to do a special episode. Scheduling was kind of funny, and I realized, you know what? This would be a great week to do an episode with just me and do a little talking on why I started this podcast. And I want to do a series where I'm going to be talking about words and phrases and qualities of the humans that I have on this podcast and how that ties into the bigger and greater mission behind why I started Coming in Hot in the first place. As some of you guys may know, I have had multiple jobs in my lifetime and probably will have multiple more. I came to the realization that I was having these conversations with people who were either transitioning to a different job or finding their passion in life or leaving their jobs to go travel the world. And this thread of finding what you want this life to be for you, no matter what that looks like to anybody else, was woven through everyone's stories who I was talking to. And I came to the realization that I needed to put these conversations out there to the world so people could listen and relate with the stories of humans going through life and figuring it the fuck out. Here's a secret. No one has any idea what is going on, including myself. I've had several jobs. I will probably have several more. But the whole point behind me bringing these conversations to you week by week is to inspire you to find what lights you up, what sets your soul on fire, essentially what makes you coming in hot, and then go do that. Because life is short and we can't waste any time doing things that don't fully fill our cups. This week, I wanted to talk a little bit about the characteristics of the humans that I have on this podcast and something that they all have in common. I haven't decided what I want this segment to be called. Something about words. If you have a good suggestion after you listen, please let me know. I am completely open to it. I wanted to start with a word that has inspired me in my life and a word that I think describes the first 6 guests that I've had on this podcast pretty well. And that word is resilience. Resilience is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress. What I found funny about this word, when I was doing a little research, I've listened to a couple podcasts and read a few articles on what it is to be resilient and how you can foster resilience in yourself and in others, teach others how to be resilient. What I found funny was multiple articles that I was reading said that resilience is not a trait that either people have or don't have, like the ability to be super physically strong, etc. It's not genetic. You either have it or you don't. It involves your behavior, your thoughts, and your actions that can be learned and developed in anyone. That was pretty inspiring to me because I think that resilience to me is the bounce back. How do you bounce back from setback? How do you bounce back from failed expectations? How do you bounce back from a situation where you truly did not think you could bounce back from it? Resilience is your ability to come back stronger, not necessarily better, but with the knowledge that you have it in you to move on and to get through whatever life throws at you. Resilience is one of the most important qualities that a human can have if they want to be successful in whatever their definition of success is, right? Coming in hot is about the people that are thriving and figuring out how to navigate this life and going with something that they feel passionate about. All of these people are resilient humans. They have found struggle, they have found adversity, and somehow they have managed to turn it into a situation that benefits them. I also found a really interesting quote about resilience, and it kind of struck me because I think for a lot of us, we are pining for some sort of extraordinary quality or aha moment where we figure it out, and if we have this quality, we will be successful and we will know what we want. But resilience, I found this in an article from the American Psychology Association. It said, research has shown that resilience is ordinary, not extraordinary. Resilience is ordinary, not extraordinary. Being resilient does not mean that a person does not experience difficulty or distress. All of us have difficulty, distress, and situation in our lives that we have to cope with on a daily basis. And I think one of the best qualities in a successful human is your ability to see the current situation as not a mountain, right? Sometimes we are in a situation and we truly believe that we cannot surmount this issue. It is an insurmountable problem and a crisis, and we won't ever get over it. Your ability to adapt and see problems as solvable and not insurmountable, and that you can't change what is happening to you, you can only change how you react to it, was almost a turning point for me. I went through a struggle trying to figure out how I could make a transition from one job to the other. And inside my head, I went through 20 different situations and felt like I was never going to make enough money. I was doing the math and it wasn't adding up, and nobody was ever going to understand me. My parents weren't going to accept the situation I was in. And I credit myself at being able to step back from problems, issues that are going on with my life, and realize that it is not the end all be all. I like to say in my classes that this is temporary. Everything is, right? So the pain or the struggle or the happiness or the successes, the wins, everything is temporary. And being able to see outside of the bubble that you're in right now is a way that you can be resilient and train that. Accepting that change is a part of living, moving towards your goals, taking decisive actions, looking for opportunities for self-discovery, nurturing a positive view of yourself and your life, and keeping things in perspective, making connections with people. These are all ways that you can build resilience in yourself. And building resilience in yourself will inevitably build resilience in the humans that you surround yourself with. It is not an extraordinary act to be resilient. It is simply a tool that you can use to find success and find the things that set yourself on fire. Set yourself on fire. Please don't set yourself on fire. That set your soul on fire despite the struggles that you will go through. And a phrase that really ties this whole thought process together for me is one that I've actually stolen from my mother. Thank you, Colleen. She's a principal, and she obviously has a million sticky notes on her desk. She would write this phrase on sticky notes, no context or anything, and I would find them, and I remember the first time I saw it, and I was like, wow, it really just struck a chord with me. And that phrase is relentless forward progress. Relentless forward progress. It's such a simple yet powerful phrase, and it reminds you to keep going, to keep forging on, despite whatever is happening in your life, whatever struggles you're going through or the problems. Relentless forward progress on to the next. So when I'm struggling and feeling like I can't do it and I can't be resilient, I remember relentless forward progress, and it really brings it home for me. And that phrase is obviously adapted from my mom. However, resilience is going to come from inside yourself, your capacity to make plans and actually carry them out, something I am still working on every single day, making plans and carrying them out, taking the steps to do that, and at the same time, not judging yourself for not executing it perfectly, having a positive view of your ability to carry out those plans, right? Your skills in communication and problem solving and your ability to manage, this is extremely hard for me, your ability to manage your strong impulses and emotions, all things that factor into your ability to be resilient. I think it's important to recognize others' success and learn from their prior successes, but to remember that they are not you. You are not going to go through life the same as anyone else. You are going to go through life as you. So if you can recognize qualities in humans that you admire, that you feel like you connect with, qualities in those humans that you can foster in yourself to set your soul on fire and find the thing that makes you happy, that honing in on those qualities and working on them in yourself is something you can do to improve your life. So if we can find a little resilience, a little ability to adapt and react to failure, judgment, self-doubt, adversity, and trauma, we are going to find success no matter what that looks like for us. If you related to this episode, I hope you did. I know I kind of went on a little tangent, but I think it's important to not only talk to humans about how they are coming in hot, but to realize that you are a resilient human. All you have to do is try. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for a special edition of Coming in Hot this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am really hoping to turn this into a series. So if anybody has any names for me, suggestions, that would be helpful. I would love that, right? We can't do this alone. Like I said, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys have an excellent weekend. Stay tuned next week, where I'll be interviewing a resilient human who is breaking the mold and who's coming in hot. Bye, guys.